gives you intense pressure to express yourself with your full and proper presence. This eclipse is radical. So make sure to try and do, some visionary, ritual or magical work and aim to get some solid, lasting results. And as I said, you can get a reading from me about this key point of Pluto in your chart. Natal and predictive. Energy demand number 5. There is an exceptional and huge number of planet aspect interconnections. The fact that this eclipse forces you to something important is emphasized by the huge number of aspect interconnections in the chart of the eclipse. I mean, it's quite amazing. There's a web of aspects joining the signs Aries, Libra, Aquarius, Capricorn, and activating Pisces and Virgo. And there's a web of planetary aspects linking Saturn, Pluto, Gandanta, Rahu, Ketu, Sun, Moon, Jupiter, Uranus, and Mars conjunct Mercury. It's amazing power in this eclipse from all those interconnections. And energy demand 6, Mars is conjunct Mercury, so avoid arguments, avoid impatience and ill temper and snapping at people. Okay, so having mapped the 6 key energy demands in the context of the earthquake natures of this full moon eclipse, I just want to look a little bit into more detail into the sort of dates and degrees, the astrological detail, and it's useful, so here they are. Well, first of all, let me say that you can see the charts and the ephemeris of planet positions for October in both Vedic and Western astrology, including this full moon eclipse, on my October monthly astrology page on my Star Wheel Astrology website. It's under the More drop-down. So let's go into the detail. Well, the Sun is at 11 Vedic Libra in Swati Nakshatra, ruled by Rahu. Now, the power animal of Swati is the male buffalo, an unstoppable, hefty, nervy, hard-working force of willpower and anger. That's where the Sun is. And the ruling deity of Swati is Rahu, driven, North Node. Swati's nature is to cut loose, sow more seeds, do anything of a progressive nature, get new tools. And things started during a Sun in Swati time are generally successful. The moon opposite at 11 Vedic Aries is in Ashwini Nakshatra. Now, Ashwini Nakshatra springs up out of the void, out of nothing. It starts in the Gandanta zone. So it's essentially about healing, but there's also a panic forced arising from the void. The power animal for Ashwini is stallions streaking across the skies of dawn. The deity, however, of Ashwini are the Ashwini Kumaras, the healer gods, the horse-headed twins, the divine physicians. So healing is key out of this eclipse. And Ashwinis are pioneers, innovators, explorers, heroic, courageous, restless, impatient, with a zest for life, usually. Okay, So I just want to mention a little bit more of the Libra-Aries pile-up in this eclipse, which is immense. So in Libra, we've got Ketu, the south node, at 0 degrees 5 minutes in Chitra Nakshatra, ruled by Mars. Sun at 11 degrees Aries in Swati Nakshatra, ruled by Rahu, north node. Mercury at 16 Libra in Swati. Mars at 16 Libra in Swati. Looking across at the other side of the axis, Eris. So Rahu north node is at 0 degree 5 minutes Libra in Ashwini Nakshatra, ruled by Ketu, the south node. The moon is at 11 degrees Aries in Ashwini Nakshatra. Jupiter is at 17 degrees Aries in Bharani Nakshatra, ruled by Venus. Uranus is at 27 degrees Aries, ruled by Kritika Nakshatra, ruled by Mars. And I wanted to mention that actually the strongest planet in this eclipse is Saturn. So be aware that Saturn makes his demands on you with utter karmic force. And we need to develop our perception to see what those demands are. But because Saturn is virtually stationary, turning direct on the 4th of November at 6 Aquarius, which is one of the 2 signs that Saturn rules, Saturn has full power to demand his karmic nature be fulfilled. He's Jagrat and wide awake, the most active planet in the chart. And it's important to remember that Saturn is originally an agricultural deity. So if we do knuckle down and do what Saturn's nature and energies karmically demands of us, the wonderful thing is that we will experience golden reaping, and indeed others will look up to us because they can see we've done the work and we've received the reaping. So just a bit of detail about Pluto in Vedic Capricorn. Well, Pluto carries a huge fated demand for us, and that's because Pluto is square the nodal axis. Pluto's at 3 Capricorn, square the nodes of the moon, Ketu and Rahu, with Ketu in the 1st degree of Libra and Rahu in the 1st degree of Aries. So we really are called to step more into our power. And there's a wonderful feeling when we each realise, wow, I've actually stepped more into my power. It's particularly wonderful for people who were denied their power as little kids or whatever, or, you know, school-age kids, whatever, whenever it was. So let's look at the detail of the nodes of the moon about to change sign. Rahu, the north node, actually first entered Vedic Aries on the 12th of April 2022. But on the 30th of October 2023, 2 days after this eclipse, Rahu enters Pisces. And Rahu will be transiting in Pisces until the 17th of May 2025, when Rahu will enter Aquarius. It is an immense change in Rahu energy for Rahu to move from fire sign Aries to water sign Pisces. Rahu has been demanding Aries ambition and action from us. Even though Rahu's demand, I believe, has often been delayed or pushed into the background, because we need to sort out and do Ketu's demand, Ketu South Node's needed work. Essentially, I find, to heal our relationship with our past lives and with our ancestors. It's work that absolutely must be done, and I think it so often takes priority and pushes the Rahu work into the background for a bit, so that we can do the Rahu work better when we've done the Ketu work. So very much check out what house in your birth chart is Aries, where Rahu has been transiting, and Libra, what house is Libra in your birth chart. A fascinating point is that Rahu is conjunct asteroid Eris in this particular full moon. North Node in Aries now calls us to grasp the nettle, to face our fears, to face them. Rahu's whole transit through Aries has developed in us, hopefully, some courage to pioneer our needed new pathway and the needed new way of doing certain things in our life. Well, at the time of this eclipse, Rahu is conjunct Eris, named after the Greek goddess of strife. And Eris indicates how and where in your life you express your rebellious or fighting side, obviously needing to express it ethically and with spiritual awareness. So this eclipse calls you to define and stride along your new path and express your needed new insights with the energy of Eris and Rahu in the background and within you. Okay, Ketu, the South Node, entered Vedic Libra on the 12th of April 2022. But as I've said, on the 30th of October 23, 2 days after the eclipse, Ketu enters Virgo. And Ketu will be transiting in Virgo until the 17th of May 2025, when Ketu will enter Leo. So this is such a big transition for Ketu. Ketu has been bringing his cutting energies, that's his nature, during his transit through Libra, the sign above all of relationship. But the ideal of these sharp and cutting energies is that we will raise our spiritual perception of our relationship issues. But from the 30th of October, Ketu will be bringing his scythe to the critical qualities of Virgo. Virgos are too critical. And also cutting away what cuts us off from our healer nature. It's amazing how we can stick to wrong pathways of healing and just not realise that wonder ways of healing can be available. What sort of healing do you need, and what method would be appropriate to bring it in and successful? And of course, Ketu's nature, as I said, is always to do with past lives and ancestry. We cannot ignore that. So, this has been quite a detailed study of a very important crossroads, and I hope that we will each of us be blessed to bring in the potentials of building on improved power and adding in healing, of refining and amplifying our visionary abilities, Jupiter-Uranus is revolution. At the time of this eclipse, let each of us spend a time to try to perceive what revolution we need. So certainly get in touch with me for one of my readings. They're absolutely wonderful. And I always combine Vedic and Western astrology and cross-reference to possible healing approaches. So I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you.